Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. Right, I'm going to be winging it a little bit today. I've thrown the notes together at the last minute. I've had a few things going on this weekend that were kind of unavoidable, and it's sort of thrown me off track a bit. I will be sipping from my little sippy cup here quite regularly. It's full of black coffee. I didn't sleep particularly well last night. So how this is going to go is anybody's guess, but let's see how we do. First of all, a thank you to Sam for inviting me to his WhatsApp group. It's a lovely little group, it really is. It's just sort of 7 or 8 people who just discuss movies. They're not online all the time. I did sort of tell him that I'm not one of these that sort of hangs on sort of Facebook and things like that sort of 24/7. It's, obviously I'll join in and when I can and when I'm online and this, that and the other, but everybody else seems to be of the same mind. They don't seem to be on it sort of all the time. It's just at certain times of the day. So, but it's a cracking little group. So I'll just say a quick hello. It's called Movie Loons. So thanks to Sam for that, and a hi to Tim, Tim Cole, I think his name is, who's got a channel of his own, which I recommended yesterday on the group. The only ones I've seen so far are some of the ones where he's showing off his Blu-ray collection, and it's quite a collection. So if you're like me, and I know you are, you like having a bit of a nose around other people's collections, Tim's is definitely one to join. Ollie as well. Ollie Loves Films recommended that one and left a link on the group. That's a very similar sort of thing. And a hi to, let's see now, I've got them all here, so I'm probably going to repeat myself a bit. Tim, Sam, Nikki, Roy, who you all know, Stuart, who you all know, and Ash. I think that's everybody. If I've forgotten anybody, please forgive me. But thanks again for inviting me to the group. It's a cracking little community that you've got there, and I'm looking forward to joining in with the discussions whenever I can. Let's see, who else? Oh, quick one for Dave Taylor. You've not commented this week, Dave, as yet anyway, but we're talking about Gunfight at the OK Corral and movies related to it. I found this one in my collection that I actually got in a sale a few weeks ago. It's called Doc. I haven't watched it yet. This is Stacey Keach, Faye Dunaway, Harris Yulin, whoever that is, directed by Frank Perry. It's an alternative version of the Doc Holliday story. The screen's just gone down. That's why I've gone dark. I'll let you know what that's like when I actually get round to watching it. Let me just reignite the screen and just raise this light a little bit. There we go. Is that better? Or am I glowing a bit? Tad a bit. There we go. So, right, I'll start with the comments, as I always do. I'm going to try and rattle through this as quick as I can. I'd like to get it in sort of under an hour if I can, because I think that's a really sort of comfortable length for everybody. Comfortable length, you know what I mean. David Mansell, I'll start with Dave, or we'll start with Dave. Britannia Hospital is on sale in a 2 for £15 offer on Indicator at the moment, and also in a 2 for £15 offer at HMV. As a classic British classic, I've not edited these notes very well at all. As a classic British film on Blu-ray. I'll be taking a look at that. I actually watched the trailer for it yesterday. I have seen it a long time ago, but I couldn't remember any of what was going on in that trailer, and it looked absolutely mental. So I will probably be grabbing a copy of that. You've got the likes of Robin Asquith, Leonard Rossiter, somebody else in it, I can't remember, but it looks absolutely mad. Looking forward to grabbing a copy of that at some point, mate. Thoughts on the passing of Brian Murphy? And thank you for the shout out. You're more than welcome. Brian Murphy. Sad news. The man was 92 or 93, so he's had a good innings and a cracking career. We actually watched something on Channel 5 the other night. It was an hour and a half sort of documentary chatty thing about Man About the House. And unlike a lot of these other sitcoms and comedy stars and this, that and the other, there wasn't one bad thing in it. You know what I mean? There were no scandals surrounding it or anything like that. There were one or two controversies, but nothing nasty or nothing bad. Everybody had nothing but kind words to say about the series. So I've actually got Man About the House and George and Mildred in two box sets from Network. So I'm going to be digging those out and taking a look at them, because it's been decades since I've watched those, and I used to love both of them. So yeah, sad news indeed. But at 93, wow. I hope I'll last that long. So thanks for that, Dave. Much appreciated. You were always asking me, always. You were also asking me about my least favourite genre, and I said it was extreme cinema, and I can only think of a couple of examples. I've noted a couple more down here that you might have heard of. A Serbian film. What a vile piece that was. Caligula. Do you know what? Surprisingly enough, I really, really liked that one. I went to see it again at Burton Odeon 1980ish when it first came out, or was it 79? Absolutely loved it. I've watched pretty much every version that you could name of Caligula. The only one I haven't seen yet is the complete edit that came out on, I think it was last year, and I'm still waiting for a Blu-ray and 4K release of that one. So I will be watching that at some point because apparently it is a completely different version of the movie, and I do love Caligula very much so. This light is shining on my glasses, I've just noticed. Let me just move it a bit, just bear with me. See if I can just cut the oh no, it hasn't, has it? Tell you what, let me move over a bit. I'm not sure that's made it any better. What else have I got here? Funny games. Oh, this is one film Rob will never, ever, ever watch again. I put it on one night, basically because I'd heard so much about it, and I says it's a really good thriller. We only got, I think it was 20 minutes into it, and as soon as the dog came falling out of the back of the car dead, that was it. He walked out and said, I can't watch any more of this. And that was it. That's I watched the end of it, and it was a pretty horrible film. Martyrs, vile. The Passion of the Christ. Not had the guts to put that one on yet. I bought the Blu-ray on Chris Hukin's recommendation quite a while ago, but I've heard so much about it, I'm not sure I'm going to be able to get through it. There are two versions on the Blu-ray. There is an extreme version, which is completely uncut, and there is I wouldn't call it a family-friendly version, but it's slightly toned down on the violence. I'm so tempted to go for the friendlier version, but I've been told you really do need to watch the full, complete original version to get the effect of it. But let's see, Sallow, or 120 Days of Sodom, horrible film, absolutely horrible. Caused loads of problems with the censors back in '75 when it came out. It was banned for ages. I actually saw it about 10 years ago. Never again. Old Boy. Interesting. I didn't see the twist at the end coming on that one. Cannibal Holocaust. Oh, I saw it a long time back. Didn't like it because of the animal cruelty scenes. It was just awful. Faces of Death. Oh, God. I remember watching Faces of Death after a night out. Me and three mates came back to mine, and I'd actually got this film and said, you fancy having a look at this? Yeah, go on then. Oh, I think it was 10 minutes in before the first one said, I can't stand this, and he went home. Probably another 5-10 minutes, another one dropped out. So there's just two of us left, and we got as far as the scene with the monkey, and I said, fuck this, I can't watch this, and that was the end of Faces of Death. The Nightingale, one of the most depressing films I think I've ever seen. It's an Australian film. If you've ever seen it, you'll know why. And Titane, oh, a French movie. I mean, the French are famous for doing a sort of extreme cinema, but this was one of the finest examples, next to Irreversible. I did actually watch it all the way through, but I barely made it through it. I only watched it because it was getting such good coverage at the time, and everybody was talking about it. So I thought, you know what, I'll give it a try. It was fairly horrible, and I'm fairly certain I will never watch it again, but I can safely say that I have seen it. So that's a few more examples of extreme cinema, Dave. Thanks for that. Roy, morning Roy. Morning Tony, great stuff again. Cheers mate. I'm going to have to watch Taxi Driver again. I wasn't the biggest fan, but it's certainly been getting a lot of buzz in the zone. it seems to be the film of the moment, or it certainly was. I think it's died off a bit now. But yes, it certainly was the film of the moment a couple of weeks ago. Everybody was on about it, thanks to Callum saying that he bleeding hated it. I think that's what started it. But I'm due another watch of it, absolutely. I love Taxi Driver, absolutely love it. And I know what's reflecting on these glasses now. It's the screen, I've just realised. Can't really do much about that because my notes are on it. Congratulations on 53 minutes. I watched it all before work this morning. Have a great weekend, mate. That is what I'm going to be trying to do pretty much every week, because an hour and a half is too much. It's too much for me. I couldn't sit and watch me prattling away for an hour and a half, but an hour, I can just about cope with that. So I'm going to try and keep it to an hour if at all possible. So thanks for that, Roy. Much appreciated. Stuart. Morning, Stu. I absolutely love Rod Taylor in The Time Machine. Just a beautiful film with a really nice score. Also, the design of the time machine is a thing of beauty. I love The Time Machine. It's typical Saturday afternoon viewing in the sort of the 70s and 80s. It was on at least once a year and absolutely adored it. Used to love the original Minder TV series. George Cole and Dennis Waterman, what a partnership. If it was made today, it would probably star James Corden and Sam Smith. Lol. You know how to bring a conversation down, don't you? Fucking hell. James Corden and Sam Smith. I can safely say I would not be watching that version ever. Never in a million years. I don't know which one would be which. I dread to think. Question of the day. Do you have any favourite films starring Burt Lancaster? I've noted a few down. I wonder if I just bear with me. I know I'm fucking about a bit this morning, but I'm just trying to get rid of the glare on the glasses. Let me see whether that's done it. Well, I think that's better. Hang on, a bit more. I'm turning the screen at an angle. Oh, bollocks to it. It's not done anything really, has it? Just bear with me and I'll work on this after I've finished the video for next week. Burt Lancaster movies. Loved him in Airport. The Crimson Pirate was a good one. From Here to Eternity was superb. Trapeze, set in the circus. The Island of Dr. Moreau, 1977, brilliant. Zulu Dawn, amazing. Field of Dreams, good. My favourite Burt Lancaster movie of all time, I should say, is Local Hero, which was just brilliant. Scottish movie. Less said the better. I'll stick a trailer on later on for those of you that haven't seen it. But it is just a beautiful, gorgeous, gentle comedy from the early 80s to about 83 with a blinding soundtrack by Mark Knopfler. Just superb. There's some movies that I want to see of his. Birdman of Alcatraz, which I bought a few weeks ago. Go Tell the Spartans sounds interesting. I've tried to locate a copy of that but can't find it as yet, but I will do. Judgment at Nuremberg, long film, but I want to watch it. The Train, that keeps turning up on BBC iPlayer, so I'll be having a look at that. And The Swimmer, which looks completely different from anything he's ever done, which is why I want to watch it. So yeah, I would say they're my favourites and want to see movies of Burt Lancaster. Great video, Tone, mate, thanks. What are your favourite Burt Lancaster movies, by the way? What have you got a favourite top 5 of those? Steve Mack, our Criterion guy. Morning, Steve. Britannia Hospital got an Indicator Blu-ray. I have a copy and it has a nice booklet included. Only $9.99 on Amazon now. I'm going to be grabbing a copy of this at some point because, as I say, that trailer looked crazy. It looked really, really good. And I can't remember any of the scenes in it. I don't know why. It must have been... It's got to be over 40 years since I saw that. I mean, I can barely remember what I was doing half an hour ago, let alone 40 years. Just watched Conclave, an insight into the deception behind the scenes of the Vatican and the selection of a new pope. Loved it. Ray Fiennes was excellent, brilliant supporting cast as well. Visuals were beautiful. Edward Berger is a director to watch for sure. I saw the trailer and I've seen a couple of clips of this just recently, and it looks absolutely amazing. It's out on Blu-ray in a few weeks, so I think I'm going to treat myself to that, or maybe the 4K, because I do want to watch it. The Time Machine, directed by George Powell, did great time lapse when he goes into the future. It remains my favourite H.G. Wells book. My favourite H.G. Wells book is Food of the Gods, and this is the version that I've got. This was bought from that dusty old bookshop that we used to have in Burton. I think it was called Needwood Books. I could spend hours in there just going along the shelves, picking out the oldest versions of books that I wanted to read, and this was one of them. I read this many years ago, absolutely loved it. It bears very little resemblance to the movie made in 1976. The movie was brilliant, but the book, I would say, is streets ahead of the movie. But that's the version of Food of the Gods that I've got, and I would class that as my favourite H.G. Wells book. I've got another one here, but I'll show that one to Sam, so hang on. Thanks for that, Steve, much appreciated. Sam, morning Sam. I was going to check out some more movies for you from 1975 that I was looking forward to hopefully seeing as deluxe box sets or whatever, 50th anniversary sets this year. I've come up with a few that I didn't think of last week. Jaws, obviously, that should be coming sometime this year. Slade in Flame. Steve, thank you so much for telling me that that is coming out in May. I will absolutely 1000% be grabbing the Blu-ray of that. It's been released by the BFI, so it's going to be a nice print. It's going to look awesome. So I'll be able to sort of get rid or swap my swap shop. Who remembers that? Get rid of the DVD that I've got of Slade in Flame. I'm really looking forward to watching that in high def. I can't wait. The Giant Spider Invasion. Oh, one of the worst movies ever made, but one of my all-time favourites. You all know of my love for crap movies. The Giant Spider Invasion encapsulates that perfectly. Shivers and Rabid. Now, Shivers was released in 75. This was a David Cronenberg film. I think Rabid was about 76 or 77. But they were released on a double bill in the 80s, which I went to see and thought, Christ, both are good. Brutal, but good. And I'd love to see those get sort of a 50th anniversary release. Death Race 2000, the original, not the Jason Statham things, the original one with David Carradine. Rollerball with James Caan, that was a good one. Doc Savage, The Man of Bronze, one of my favourite fantasy sort of action adventure movies ever. Was released on a double bill with a movie called Warlords of Atlantis, which I'm also hoping gets the 50th anniversary release. It was released in 78, but it was part of a series of Doug McClure movies, which included The Land That Time Forgot, The People That Time Forgot, and At the Earth's Core. And I would love to see those get a 50th anniversary release this year. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, Jack Nicholson. Not seen it for years, but remember being very impressed with it. The Wilderness Family. This was always on every summer, around about mid to late 70s. Every summer, The Wilderness Family turned up at Burton Odeon on a double bill, I think, with the sequel. I believe they did a second one. And they both used to turn up pretty much every summer, along with the Sinbad films, sort of various Disney live action movies. Monty Python and the Holy Grail, I completely forgot about that one. I'd love to see a 50th anniversary version of that one. It would look amazing, especially if it was cleaned up. I believe it's on Blu-ray, but it's screaming out for a 4K, that one. And one called The Sunshine Boys. This is a movie starring, I believe, George Burns and Walter Matthau, playing two vaudeville comedians who are lured back into the limelight by the promise of an appearance on a TV show. Only problem is they hated each other. It's a Neil Simon comedy. I watched the trailer to it last week and loved it, and would love to see that movie. But I would also love to see it as a 50th anniversary Blu-ray, so hopefully we'll get that. And Sam, you were asking me about The Time Machine. That's my version. This is an old paperback from God knows when. It cost me 50p. But that's my version of The Time Machine. It's a cracking book, really cracking book. So if you get the chance to get a copy, I'm sure it's available on Amazon. That is worth a watch. And this, we were talking about the 39 Steps. I've got on DVD, I've got the original Hitchcock version of 39 Steps. I've also got the Robert Powell version which I absolutely adore. And this is my copy. Let me just put this cup down a minute. This is my copy of the 39 Steps. This is how old it is. Look, the binding is coming away. This is an old book. And as soon as I picked this up, I thought, yes, you have read this. Oh, look at this. This is an old book and it's just gorgeous. I have read this a long time ago. I remembered being in a particular job and I used to read that on my lunch hour. So there are my 39 Steps. Well, the 39 Steps collection, let's say. Thanks for the voice message yesterday, by the way. I really, really enjoyed your little catch up. Long Legs. Oh my God. You were saying that it was overhyped. I'll come back onto Long Legs next week. I was going to copy and paste some comments that people had left on my little post that I put on the group, basically saying that I was going to be watching it. So I'll come back onto that next week because it's a very divisive movie. As for it being overhyped, absolutely it was. I mean, it was everywhere when it first came out. And I do remember thinking, I hope this is as good as they're making out it is. And then all the reviews started coming out when it was released, and it was like, you know, some hated it and some loved it. And most people didn't understand it, and I fell into the latter, unfortunately, as I usually do. Winchester 73, never seen it, but you've highly recommended it, so I'll try and grab a copy of that and take a look. And Shane Meadows 24/7 BFI Blu-ray release. I've actually got some Shane Meadows movies based on a conversation I had with Jason ages ago about, you know, you've never seen Shane Meadows movie. I know this is an old story with me. You've never seen a Shane Meadows film? No, apart from Dead Man's Shoes, which I found distressing and extremely disturbing. Paddy Considine, oh my God, what a performance. It was just amazing in that, absolutely brilliant. And this is one that I do need to grab a Blu-ray of and watch again. But I've never seen 24/7, but I do have a couple of Shane Meadows movies, which if I think on, I'll drag them down later on and show you which ones I've actually got. And I believe there were two of them were the ones that you mentioned. Now, on to your comment from yesterday. Good morning, Tony, mate. Great video as ever. Thanks, Sam. I have pre-ordered the 4K Criterion of Anora, which was my favourite film of last year. Also, Night Train Murders on 4K and Throne of Blood on 4K. Have you seen any of these, bud? I've not seen Anora. I'm very keen to see it. Kermode loved it. It's another one that's out on Blu-ray and 4K within the next few weeks, so there's a very good possibility I will be grabbing a copy of that one. The Night Train Murders, not familiar with it. I've kind of heard of it. There's a distant memory back then, but I can't say that I've ever seen it. But I did look it up on Amazon, and the cover art looks absolutely amazing. I'm sure the movie is not that good, but I'm certainly willing to find out. So I'll keep an eye on that one. Got the Dollars trilogy on pre-order as well. Can't wait for Fistful of Dollars and for a few dollars more, especially as there'll be first-time watches. Do you have a favourite score, soundtrack out of this trilogy, and would you say this is one of the best trilogies out there? Absolutely 100%, I would say it's one of the best trilogies out there. My favourite soundtrack has got to be The Good, The Bad and The Ugly. I think it's one of the most amazing theme songs ever created. And Sergio Leone, I know it doesn't define him because he did so much work. He's got an incredible body of work. But that particular theme, I've actually got it on my favourite songs on Spotify, and at least once a week I will listen to that. It just sends a shiver down my spine every time I listen to it. It is just brilliant. So I think now you've gathered that The Good, The Bad and The Ugly is my favourite soundtrack. And I think these glasses are wonky again. I'm coming onto that again in a bit. Hang on. God, is it my ears that are lopsided? I'm off to see, or have seen by the time you see this, Sunset Boulevard on Sunday. Meant to be amazing, Tony. Also going to see Companion, and then later that day, The Vanishing. What are your thoughts, bud? Sunset Boulevard haven't watched yet. By the way, if you guys are playing Tony Time Bingo, you must be close to a house by now because you know how this is played. Um, it's supposed to be brilliant, absolutely superb. Gloria Swanson, I believe, and William Holden. I've not seen Companion. I think Callum, one of our members, went to see that a couple of weeks ago. I think he was quite impressed with it. I have no idea even what it's about. The Vanishing. Ooh, which version? I went to see at the cinema the I think it was Kiefer Sutherland version. Disturbing, but really, really good. I'm intrigued to take a look at an early film called 24/7. Oh, we've covered this, haven't we? Which is getting its first time Blu-ray release on BFI. Have you seen this one, bud? No, I haven't seen that one, mate. The only Shane Meadows film I can safely say that I've seen are This Is England and Dead Man's Shoes. I'd have to have a look at his filmography to see if there's any others, but I don't think I've seen any others. But Made in England, or was it Made in Britain? Made in England. Oh Christ! What a film! What a film! Uh, that last scene with Stephen Graham. Oh my God! You never forget that. Never forget that. I watched the Happiness Patrol for the first time. Doctor Who episode with Sylvester McCoy. Really delightful, fun episode tone. I say the episode with David Tennant, Gridlock, may have took influence from this episode. Guy would know that. I had such a good time with the Happiness Patrol. Plan on revisiting Greatest Show in the Galaxy next. Do you have a favourite McCoy episode, bud? I think I've only ever seen one, and it was the Dalek one. Um, and I believe it was the one where it came down the stairs for the first time ever in the history of Doctor Who. That's the only one that I've ever seen. I never took to Sylvester McCoy, and I don't know why. He was perfect for the role. I'd love to see them now, and I have got a couple upstairs, so I may drag them down at some point. But I'm working my way through the Patrick Troughton years at the moment. I'm on the first story. I've got the second episode, hopefully later this morning if I can get this sorted. But no, I'm basically I've not seen any Sylvester McCoy episodes or stories apart from that Dalek one. Was it Revelation? Revelation of the Daleks or Revenge of the... I can't remember. That's the only one I've seen though. Have an amazing weekend, Tony, mate. Keep up the superb work, and bring on next Saturday. Right, I'm up to 28 minutes, so I'll take a quick break because I've got Jason K. Acid Ginger Ninja coming up next, and his comment's quite a good one because he didn't make one last week. He was busy. Well, actually, he took the day off, I believe. So I'm basically something that he watches while he's working. I believe that's how it goes. He says so in a minute. So I'll be back in a second, guys. And we're back. Right, I just checked the last section of the video, and I don't think the glare on the glasses is too off-putting. If it is, please let me know, and I'll try to reposition the screen, even if it's just for recording the video. But I don't think it looked too bad. So, right on with the comments. Jason K, JK, Ginger Ninja. Morning, Jay. Geez, no comment last week. Oh, I nearly went Australian then. I may have been a few days late. I guess that means a double shout out next week then. It certainly does, sir. Absolutely. And here we go. Good day, Tony. Tuesday afternoon, Tony time. Yeah, bit late. I would usually watch your vid at work on a Saturday arvo. Oh my God, you couldn't get more Australian than arvo, could you? But for the first time in 3 years, I had the Saturday off work, so time to catch up. Deadpool and Wolverine. You don't need to go back and watch all the movies. Some are not worth it, and some are so irrelevant and simple fan service, you may feel like you wasted your time. Do you know what? I've been waiting to hear that. I will stick Deadpool and Wolverine on my watch list. If I've not got to go back through all the previous instalments, that's probably not too bad. I've been doing YouTube for about 3 years now, and in the last few months, I have had a few people come up to me at the movies, Retro Rewind and Bonfire Horror Club, and talk to me about my reviews and channels. It is surreal. I don't think I've had that happen yet. Only once, and that was at work when a guy, he's no longer there, he came up to me and he said, are you that guy that does Tony's Retro Zone? And I said, yeah, I'm Tony. Love it, absolutely love it. So I was really pleased with that. That's the only time it's ever happened. Um, but yeah, it takes you out of yourself a little bit, doesn't it? It makes you think, oh, somebody likes me. The more I hear about the human centipede, the more I think we need a live watch party. No, we bleeding don't. So we can see your reactions to it. I'll tell you what my reaction's going to be to it. Sort of, there's going to be a lot of this, a lot of this, a lot of that. You saw my reaction video to Freddy Got Fingered. It'll be pretty much the same, I'm fairly sure of it. But in all honesty, it's not as bad as the sequels. And the third one, it's got Eric Roberts in it. That's all you need to know. He's not very popular, is Eric Roberts, is he? Dune is my favourite David Lynch film. I grew up with the book and this movie and loved it. It's epic space opera in a way that's completely different to the other space operas of the time. Plus, I have the 3-hour extended DVD and the recent Viavision Blu-ray release, which is amazing. I'd actually be tempted by that. Now I've actually shopped with Viavision, which is where I got my copy of Capricorn 1 from. I actually wouldn't mind trying to get a copy of that. I presume it's still, well, assume makes an ass of you and me, so somebody told me once. I assume it is still available on Viavision. Let me know, and if it is, I may just treat myself to a copy of that. I completely forgot to get my worst ever movies across. Damn, it's definitely been one of those weeks. We'll get on that ASAP. I look forward to finding out what they are, because you, like me, love trashy movies, hence Trashy Tuesdays. Or trashy, is it trash or Trashy Tuesdays? So I know you like the same kind of movies that I do in that particular sort of genre. So I'm looking forward to finding out what you consider to be complete rubbish. Suburban Commando is a 90s classic, cheesy, bad, and absolutely great in all the bad movies ways. In all the bad movie ways. Would I be tempted to watch a Hulk Hogan film? I don't know. Maybe now you've said that. Everybody else has basically denounced them and just basically said they are absolute crap. But you've actually given me a slight glimmer of hope with that. So maybe Suburban Commando is the way to go with that. Leave that with me. You haven't seen The Prophecy. Got to get on that. And the sequel, Vulcan, is the highlight of them. But that first one has a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. But that first one has an absolutely amazing cast. Also, check out my reviews of them. Lol, I will do that. I will take a look at those. I don't know much about them. In fact, I know very, very little about them. Is he some kind of evil angel or something like that? But I am going to track them down, and I will also have a look at your reviews and see what you made of them. Predator, fantasy, what? It's action sci-fi all the way. It is actually, yes. I don't know what made me say it was fantasy, I'm sure. The Omega Man and Soylent Green are two of my favourite films, especially of that era. Huge fan of both movies. Got something to show you in a bit. I presume I have. Yes, I have. Why do I come back to the channel? I think you're talking about, or I hope you are. It's a nice, friendly chat, and it's great to hear you speak to and with all of us. At least that's the way it feels to me. Thank you so much. Really, really appreciate that. As I've said before, for the longest time I wondered what it actually was that I got here and what I was doing. But I've now settled into not the routine, but I've settled into the train of thought that it is just me having a chat with you. You know what I mean? We don't see each other, but it's just my way of having a natter on a Saturday morning with you. I love it. I absolutely love doing this, and I don't think I will ever stop doing it. Especially when I hear things like that, it just makes it all worse. So thanks for that, Jay. Very much appreciated. Great vid, Tony. Have a great week. I can't wait to see your review of Kingdom of the Spiders. My God, I'm really looking forward to that one. I'm really hoping you enjoyed it to some extent. I'm willing to hedge my bets and say that you liked it, but we shall see. But I can't wait for that one to drop. So thanks for all that, Jay. Much appreciated, mate. Mark. Morning, Captain. Morning, Mark. I love he calls me Captain. I love that. Yep, your glasses are wonky. The temple on your right is over the ear, as it's supposed to be, but the temple on your left is halfway up the side of your head. Is that what these are called? Are they called temples? I didn't know that. I didn't know that. Right. So I'm going to be putting that right because I think Jason pulls me up on this one as well. Predator 1. Predator. 4, 3, 2, 1. Just bear. I've not edited any of this, so if Predator. Right. Okay. 3, 2, 1. Predator. I class as an action film. It's set on Earth. 7 big blokes with guns shooting and killing shit. Marvellous. Easily amused is our mark. It is good. The original Predator is brilliant. Can't speak for the others because I've never seen any of them. The Das Boot TV series I'm referring to is not the old 80s one, but the 2018 reboot series. I'm very tempted. If I watch that Das Boot Blu-ray that I've got and I enjoy it, there is a very good possibility I will order the series. And I get the feeling I will be wanting to take a look at that. But I would also love to see the original series in its entirety. So watch this space. Supernatural is 327 episodes. Fuck. So if you stick to your 1 episode a week, it would take you over 6 years to watch it all. I'm currently up to series 8, but it's been a while since I've watched it. Jesus Christ, that's a lot of episodes, that is. I do want to watch it and I will proceed with it. And if I get sort of really, really into it, there's a very good possibility I'll watch more than 1 episode a week. But I've got so many TV series that I need to catch up on that I'm constantly being pulled about. So we'll see how we go with that. But that's an horrendous amount. Speaking of Callie's Journey, have you watched Will and Harper yet? Last night. Absolutely loved it. It made the subject of the trans community, etc., a lot more, I wouldn't say approachable. I feel I know a lot more about it now than I did. And that's basically thanks to the two people, Will Ferrell and Harper. Harper's such a lovely person, lady. You know what I mean? The only part that upset me in the whole thing was when they went into that Texas steakhouse and all those horrible posts that people were putting on Facebook. It was vile. That was the only one. And yet they went into a small bar in Iowa probably 10 minutes before, and I thought, my God, this is not going to be good. Confederate flags everywhere. Trump basically saying, fuck Biden. Big poster saying that, and I thought, this is not going to be good. And they welcomed them with open arms. They had a great night there, and then they go into this Texas steakhouse, and it was just awful. But the movie itself was absolutely brilliant. I feel I know a lot more about the subject than I did going in, and as I say, the two of them made it so approachable. So yeah, I really, really enjoyed it, and I definitely appreciate Callie's Journey a lot more after watching it. So yeah, definitely. I thought it was brilliant. Rob loved it as well. Will we coming back to that one? Absolutely. So you blame Sky Movies for watching any old shit back in the day. What's your excuse now as you still watch any old shit? I haven't got an excuse. I just love watching shit films. I don't watch them all the time. I'm not as bad as I used to be. But yes, I do have my moments when I indulge myself with a really sort of crap movie. I think I've said before, but I'm the same as you. I really don't watch much during the week as I get up at 4 a.m. for work. So I'm in bed for 9 most nights, and by the time the wife has gotten home at nearly 6, and then we've got to have dinner and wash up, it's gone 7 before we sit down most nights. So it's usually 1 episode, maybe 2, then it's off to bed, and very rarely do we watch a film during the week. I'll usually watch one on Sunday morning on my own, and then we'll watch one on a Saturday night together. That sounds exactly like me and Rob. It's exactly the same. I just can't find the time or the energy to watch anything too demanding or long during the week. It just can't happen. I sometimes make an exception on a Tuesday night because Rob goes to see his dad and I've got the place to myself and I can watch what I want. But usually if I put a film on, I'm normally nodding off within 30, 40 minutes and I have to come back to it the following night to watch the second half, so it's hardly worth doing. But you get it, you absolutely get it. When you're up at 4 o'clock in the morning to go to work, you can't be up at sort of 10, 11 and 12 watching movies because it makes for a pretty crap day the following day, doesn't it? Why am I sitting right down in the chair? I look all hunched. That's better. So yeah, you absolutely get it. And Saturday nights is definitely our main movie night, and that's one where I have to pick something that we're both going to enjoy, which is why Will and Harper went down so well last night. So yeah, you get that, and I'm fairly sure you all get it. Great as always, same time next week. Absolutely, Mark. Never seen it for this week. Was LA Confidential. This is probably up there as one of the best cop detective movies I've ever seen, and it's got a great cast as well. 8.5 out of 10. Win-win. I haven't seen LA Confidential for a long time, but I do remember being very impressed with it. Russell Crowe was superb. Guy Pearce was brilliant. Kim Basinger is in that one. Just amazing. I would love another look at that. So that's another Blu-ray begging to be begging to be bought. So thanks for that, Mark. Looking forward to hearing from you next week again, mate. Guy, morning, Guy. Saturday morning, tea, toast, and Tony time. Perfection. Thank you. So sweet. Sorry I didn't comment last week. You fucking will be. Life got in the way. In fact, I haven't finished watching. In fact, I haven't finished last week's yet. I'm a bad zoner. You're a very naughty zoner. I shall put you over my knee and spank your little bottom. Tell you now. You got there eventually. Regarding limb breaks and hard stuff in films, I get where you're coming from, but if you take Nobody as an example, the movie, yes, there's a couple of nasty breaks in there, but you're also missing out on an incredibly well-crafted film with great acting and a cracking story. Cracking bones and all. You're essentially stifling yourself and your enjoyment of films. I know this. I need to overcome this thing. I really do. So I think Nobody would be a good starting point. And that doesn't mean you can all challenge me to watch bone-breaking nightmares, but I will give Nobody a go because I've heard such good things about it. RMZ Bingo is coming. Oh, you've got it in mind, have you? How goes progress on your Audible version of It? I've got about 10 hours left. That's probably about 3-4 weeks worth of listening. I know Welcome to Derry is coming very, very soon, so I do need to get that listened to. Commenting on this week's vid while watching the other half of last week's vid is weird. I can only concentrate on one thing at a time. I couldn't do that. Wow, a comment without ranting, expletives, innuendo, or general mickey taking. Strange or what? Invasion of the Body Snatchers. What have they done with you? See you next week. Yes, you certainly will, Guy. Callie, morning, sweetheart. It's Saturday morning, so that means it's Tony time. On the Human Centipede, I've not seen the second or third one, but honestly, the first one isn't as bad as its reputation. Just watch the first one and be done with the franchise, hon. Do you know what? I'm tempted, and I will almost certainly go for that. I know from what I've heard about the second one, I would not get through it. I know for a fact I wouldn't. And I know Rick was probably very, very disappointed in me, which is maybe why he's not commented this week. I don't know. But yeah, I think that's what I'm going to go for. The male version of Pat is short for Patrick, hon. Would have thought that was obvious. Did you? I can't even remember what I was talking about. Which Pat was I talking about? I can't remember. The Hangover films. Seen clips, not my sort of thing, to be honest. They weren't my sort of thing, but I watched them. Enjoyed them, but very sort of throwaway movies. I won't be watching them again. I don't think so anyway. So, Supernatural episode numbers. Okay, here goes. Season 1 to 13 have 24 episodes per season. Seasons 14 and 15 have 20 episodes each. At least I think they do. It's an horrendous amount. No, I didn't wander into oblivion. I did make a follow-up comment last week, but it was probably after you recorded the episode. It was. I'm sorry for saying that. Yeah, I usually record very, very early on a Sunday morning. And if somebody's not commented at that time, I will normally or always add it on to the next week's. So all of you, don't worry if you don't get a chance to comment. You sort of before Sunday morning, you will be heard. I promise you. Maybe another week, but you will be heard. Another cracking episode, honey, and looking forward to watching next week. And then you came back a little bit later. Morning, I'm back to finish the episode and finish off my comments. I'm sorting out DVD and Blu-rays. I think I need to go through mine and see what I want to keep and what needs to go. This is an ongoer with me, as Jason will tell you. It is in hand, and you will see a significant improvement in what I'm doing by the end of this year. So we'll watch this space. Interstellar, there's another one I've not seen. Great film. Bit confusing towards the end, but really, really good. I had less of the episode left than what I thought I did. Great episode as always, so I'm looking forward to next week's episode. And this week, Higgis returns. I did listen, I commented, I loved it. You watched Alligator and Alligator 2, two brilliant movies from the sort of early 80s. I've not seen, have I seen Alligator 2? No, I haven't. But I will be taking a look at it now that it's on Prime. Possibly re-watching Supernatural. That's ready for an episode of Higgis. I'm looking forward to that one, to hearing your thoughts on sort of Supernatural, because I'm only one episode in so far. As for watching it again, brave lady. Guy, you watched Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. I need to go back and watch the previous trilogy first before I take on Kingdom. Because I can barely remember those three. I would actually love to go back through them all again. I watched the original 5 probably about 18 months ago. Loved them all. I'd love to see them again. So that could be the next franchise that I work my way through. Must try connecting the wireless headphones to the TV for this immersive experience that you're on about, Callie. I've not done it yet. I've got wireless headphones, but I've not attempted to connect them to the TV yet. But I will be doing. And you were talking about The Simpsons, 36 seasons and 781 episodes plus a film. And I agree with you. I really, really hope that if they do bring it to a close after all these years, which I kind of hope they don't, because I mean, I've never seen a complete episode of it, as I know, because I commented on YouTube about it. I've never seen a full episode of it. I've bumped into it thousands of times and sort of watched a few minutes, but never seen a complete one. But I would hate, like you say, for them to Game of Thrones it, which is basically balls up the last season, and everybody remembers it as, yeah, The Simpsons was brilliant, but that last season was terrible. So yeah, I do agree with you on that. Let's see. I think that's it. Thanks ever so much, Callie. Much appreciated. Look forward to hearing from you next week and to next week's episode of Higgis, no matter what the subject is. Even if it's nothing that I've heard of, it's just nice the banter between you guys. Guys, sorry. Arsehole. Between you two is just amazing. Oh, what was I thinking? Sorry, Callie. Jason P. Morning, Jay. Great vid as per. Cheers, mate. Dirk Benedict replaced the actor playing Faceman from episode 1. That guy only did the pilot. I knew it. Wonky glasses. Oh, God, here we go. It's because you have a bald head. You put the glasses on and they stay where you put them as they stick to your skin. I'm speaking from experience here. I'm still not sure they're quite right, but they look better than they did earlier on. It must be my ears. They must be. Yeah. Believe it or not, I have a couple of John Cena movies and The Rock movies. They are certainly better than Hulk Hogan. He was absolutely awful. After everything you said last week. Doing this new thread cost me £6 in CEX yesterday on 4 films. It's because I forgot about them or thought, no, I need a copy of it. And I know you're going to ask what they were. So, All the Money in the World. I've not seen it, but I know of it. Green Book, not seen it but heard a lot about it. Magnificent Seven, the 2017 version. I'd avoided it because I hadn't bothered with the original, but £150 for the Blu-ray had to be done. You'll have to let me know what that's like, because I've not seen the remake. I've not bothered with it mainly because I love the original. But there was also a remake of a Western called 3:10 to Yuma, which I think is one of Mark's favourites, and he reckons that's absolutely brilliant. So am I right in thinking that the remake of The Magnificent Seven is as good? Let me know on that. And Happy Time Murders. I've never seen all of this. It's probably going to be crap, but it may become but it may become one of those films that just vanish without a trace. It's never been on terrestrial TV either, so for a quid on DVD, why not? Yeah, absolutely. You're like me. You're a bit of an impulse buyer sometimes, aren't you? You don't do it anywhere near as often as I do, though. But yeah, you do. You do impulse buy, and that kind of proves it. This new thread will cost you all money, and your watch list will grow. I have no doubt about that. And it'll be definitely one of those where we will all have a say on different movies. Not sure yet how I'm going to plan it all out. Definitely starts at Easter, maybe earlier. I need to plan it all first. There are so many different categories we put movies in. And these are the categories. There are actually, I think, more than there were last week. First category is I own. Next one, good, but don't own it. Next, seen it, it was okay. Next, seen it, it was shit. Next one, turned it off after 30 minutes. Next one, not my thing, so I wouldn't even bother. And finally, not a chance in hell will I ever bother. Just so many. Toodle pip till next week. Toodle pip, Jay. Let's see, your never seen it this week was the original Magnificent Seven from 1960. A bandit, not a band, terrorizes a small Mexican farming village each year. Several of the village elders send 3 of the farmers into the United States to search for gunmen to defend them. They end up with 7, each arriving with his own reason. They must prepare the town to repulse an army of 30 bandits who will arrive wanting food. Verdict. I enjoyed this. I will probably watch it again. I also watched the sequels, but they were not a patch on the first one. I've never seen the sequels and I wouldn't have bothered with them, but I'm very curious about the remake, so you'll have to let me know how that one goes. So thanks for that, Jay, much appreciated. I've got a few bits here that I quickly want to show you. These are from, let me just move the mouse and I can shift these across. These are bits that I've bought over the last week or so. I'll start with magazines as usual. I popped into Smith's on one of my half days last week, I can't remember, and saw these and thought, the police, this is the complete story of the police, album by album, single by single, interviews with all of them, police, the full story. Can't wait to have a read of that. I love the police. Saw this and I couldn't resist it. It was quite expensive, $7.99, but I had a quick breeze through it while I was stood at the rack, and I know how I feel about people standing at the rack reading, but it was literally a quick flick through. I wasn't blocking anybody as it goes. But this is Starburst, and it is the top, I can't even read it, top 50 fantasy films of all time. So that's a good one just to have a flip through. Latest issue of Doctor Who magazine with Ncuti Gatwa on the front. Let's see, tracking down the mysterious Yeti, the Quarks. I remember those. I believe that's going to be in the Patrick Troughton season. The Third Man, season 7 on Blu-ray. I'm looking forward to seeing the review of that, just to see whether I'm going to get it or not. Let's see. I think I showed this one off last week, but I'm not sure. Latest issue of Intermission, which is Talking Pictures TV, their official magazine. Now some books. Oh my God, what a book. Slade in Flame at 50. Look at that. This is everything you could wish to know about the movie Slade in Flame. It's quite well illustrated. This is why I'm looking forward to getting the movie Slade in Flame on Blu-ray. I've only ever seen it on DVD. Absolutely adored it. It's the movie that Kermode called the Citizen Kane of pop music movies. I'm coming up to the hour, so I'm starting to panic now that I'm going to run over. But yeah, I can't wait to see that on Blu-ray. This is a series that I've just recently got into. I've only watched 2 episodes, but I absolutely love it. It comes basically on the back of watching a series called Charlie Cooper's Myth Country, where the guy goes round uncovering various superstitions and traditions of sort of rural England. And somebody mentioned, have you ever seen this country. I'd never even heard of it, but I watched it, and the 2 episodes I've seen, absolutely loved them. So that's the book version. I would think it was only about £1.50, so I thought I'd grab that. And another book that I've got here, Cannibal Error. Another, look at the size of that. This is basically anti-film propaganda and the video nasties panic of the 1980s. I love any book to do with the video nasties and that particular era in film, which sticks out in my memory as it does for everybody. So I'm looking forward to getting into that. But this is going to be, look at that, it's hardly worth even flipping through, but it's well illustrated and it got great reviews on Amazon, so I thought I'll have a look at that. Let's see what I've got here. Oh, this is all DVDs and Blu-rays now. First one, Russell Crowe, The Sum of Us. I'd never heard of this, and we were watching Unhinged last week, and I went through his filmography because I thought I need to watch more of his. I think the only ones I've seen are Gladiator and Unhinged. I don't know whether I've seen any others of his, I can't remember. Master and Commander is supposed to be quite good, but this one came highly recommended on Amazon. I mean, yeah, never heard of it, but looking forward to grabbing a look a bit. Let's see what else we've got here. This was recommended by Mark, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to grab a copy of that. It was a difficult one to track down, but I got it eventually. Best Shot. I think this was your never seen for last week, I think, Mark, and you quite liked it. I'm not a massive fan of sports movies, as you know, but if it's a good character study, I will watch it. So I thought I'll give this a go. The cast alone sold it to me. Gene Hackman, Barbara Hershey and Dennis Hopper. How can you say no? The A-Team. I've just started watching the A-Team series. I'm only 1 episode in, but already I wanted to see the movie version, so I've managed to grab the Blu-ray. It's an extended cut. So yeah, looking forward to having a watch of that. This one was recommended by Sam. I watched it, absolutely adored it. Watched the remake last week. Was good, but it was nowhere near as good as this one. This is Nosferatu, the original 1922 silent version, which I absolutely adored and cannot wait to watch again on this Masters of Cinema Blu-ray. Some good extras on this as well, documentaries and stuff. Can't wait to get into that one. And Jason, JK, our Ginger Ninja, the Omega Man. This is not available in the UK. I had to import this from Germany, hence the F16 certificate on there. Can't wait to watch this. Charlton Heston, seen the trailer, seen clips. Looks absolutely brilliant. I can't wait to take a look at this one, and I almost certainly will do it on a double bill with Soylent Green, which I've also got upstairs. So they'll be back to back one night. So that's it. I think that's everything I've got for you. If I recommend any film this week that I've seen, it will be Will and Harper. It is absolutely delightful. It's funny. It's sad. Probably the best line in it, I thought, and this made me laugh out loud, was where Will asked her, do you think you're a worse driver as a woman than you were as a man? I thought that was absolutely brilliant. And as soon as he said that, I thought, I'm going to enjoy this. I'm really going to enjoy this. But yeah, if you've not seen Will and Harper and you're interested in the subject, it is a very approachable movie. Really, really good. We will definitely be watching it again. So, right, I'm going to draw it to a close, guys. I've got a few bits and pieces to be getting on with. So thank you very, very much for joining me. Thanks again to Sam for inviting me to the WhatsApp group. I'm loving what I've seen so far. Thank you all for joining me. And I'll be back again, same time, same place next week, God willing. So have a brilliant week, folks. We're steaming through February quite nicely now. Hopefully we'll come to March very, very soon and things will start to warm up and look a little brighter for us all. So have a great week, guys, and I will talk to you all again next week. Take care. Ta-da.